This is your USMNT Abroad weekend update from January 30th to February 1st of 2026. Hello. If you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV. And welcome to the US Men's National Team Abroad series, where every single Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend. Now, I don't have much to say before we start this episode, besides the fact that I am on countdown mode for the World Cup, and we've hit February of 2026. So we are literally only 4 months away from the main event. Also, this past week, I started watching a TV show that many recommended to me, saying the ending is great and I won't regret watching it. It's called Game of Thrones, but it's a bit of a weird TV show. Some of the episodes seem like Spicy Jeff might have written it. Yeah, I think weird is an oversimplification, but I'll try to watch it till the very end, and I'll let you know how it is. Okay, don't forget to drop a like in this video. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes. And let me know in the comment section down below, because at the time of this recording, we don't know. If Pepi does, in fact, move to Fulham, is it a good move or a bad move? And tell me why. If you want to know my opinion, I did a live stream yesterday talking about it, so you can go check that out. Let's roll the intro and start the recap. As always, we start with the Americans in the Serie A. In Italy, the Italian Serie A. Okay, not the Brazilian one, the Italian one. So we usually talk about Christian Pulisic first. He plays for Milan, but Milan didn't play this weekend. Their game is on Tuesday. But I do have news. I have actually bad news. Some might say terrible news. So Pulisic will be available on Tuesday, but apparently he is dealing still with a muscle discomfort or a hip injury. I don't know what he has, hemorrhoids. Something is off. Something is wrong about Christian Pulisic, and he's expected to come off the bench. Now, am I concerned? Yes, a lot. This guy rested over the summer. He's not playing many minutes this season. There's no Champions League soccer for Milan, and he's still dealing with a chronic injury. Why am I concerned? I think all of us need to be mentally prepared with the fact that we might not have a fully fit Pulisic for the 2026 World Cup. Will he be there? Very likely. Will he play through an injury? Yes. Will he put his body on the line? Of course. But we might not see the best version of him based on what's happening right now. But time will tell. Hopefully he rests enough and he's fine during the summer. But I don't know, man. This guy's body just can't take it. Now, next up, we have Yunus Musa from Atalanta. He played 0 minutes this weekend. He stayed on the bench, so I got nothing to say there. His minutes have been tanking once again. So let's skip Musa and talk about Weston McKennie and Ben Cremaschi. McKennie from Juventus, Cremaschi from Parma, because they clashed over the weekend. And on Sunday, McKennie started and played 74 minutes for Juve during their 4-1 win over Parma. So McKennie played as an attacking midfielder for most of the game, almost like a shadow striker. And it wasn't until the 69th minute, that Juventus moved him to a right wing back position for like 5 minutes until he was subbed out because they already had a 4-1 lead. And Weston McKennie was actually very good this game. He looked sharp on the ball. The first touch was great. He was dangerous, combining well with his teammates. And he scored a nice goal with one of those acrobatic finishes that only McKennie can do. He's very good at. Okay, not only McKennie. Obviously, Zlatan was able to do it, Haaland and other guys, but McKennie is very good at it. And at the third goal that Juventus scored, it was off a rebound from a Weston McKennie header that hit the post. McKennie was very good, in my opinion. He was the man of the match alongside Bremer. Now, Ben Cremaschi didn't play. He stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes. And about Weston McKennie, I just want to say one thing. If you look towards all the Americans in Europe this season, Weston McKennie, to my surprise, has been the best performer. He's been the best US Men's National Team player abroad. He's been the most consistent one. He's been performing in the Champions League, the Serie A. He's been great and playing multiple different positions. And mind you, do not forget, at the time of this recording, as things stand, Weston McKennie will be a free agent this summer. And I know MLS is going to offer a lot of money. I think he'll go to MLS, but I hope he doesn't go now. He can still play in Europe. He can maybe even go to the Premier League and do fine. We'll see what happens. Now we're going to go to England and talk about the Americans in the Premier League. The first one being Chris Richards from Crystal Palace. And on Sunday, Richards started and played the full 90 minutes for Crystal Palace during their 1-1 draw with Nottingham Forest. Now, 3 minutes into the game, Richards made an incredible last-minute goal-saving tackle, stopping Igor Jesus from scoring. The only concerning moments were when Chris Richards and the Palace back line would be on a high line, and then, it was kind of noticeable that Richards was struggling to keep up with players that have pace. They were beating him with some ease. So again, it's just when they were playing a high line. And we saw that against Ecuador, right? When Ener Valencia scored by outpacing Chris Richards because, again, we were playing a high line. My point, decent to good performance from Chris Richards, but we got more evidence that he's not a very fast center back. Okay, hopefully Pochettino knows that. Next up, we have a player that's actually very fast, one of the fastest. They call him Quick Robinson for a reason, and his name is Anthony Robinson, and no one calls him Quick Robinson. And on Sunday, A-Rob started and played 71 minutes for Fulham during their 3-2 loss to Manchester United. And I would say A-Rob has had better games for Fulham. He offered almost nothing going forward, which is probably why he was subbed out in the 71st minute when Fulham was down 2-0. And in the second goal that they conceded, it was a bit on Anthony Robinson. He could have done better defensively, but it was actually him. He was the one that gave the ball away when they were trying to build out of the back or play out of the back. So the second goal was a little bit on A-Rob, and going forward, he didn't really offer much. So he wasn't horrible, but he also wasn't good. Now, Tyler Adams is still recovering from the torn MCL. He's expected to be back in March. So last but not least in England, we have Brendan Aronson from Leeds. And on Saturday, Aronson started and played 71 minutes for Leeds during their 4-0 loss to Arsenal. And listen, it was not a good game from Brendan Aronson. It was actually quite bad, but I'm going to cut him some slack. He's been quite good lately, and this was against Arsenal. They're much better than Leeds, and honestly, no one from Leeds really looked good. So sure, Aronson wasn't great, but I'll cut him some slack for this one. Now, before we continue, drop a like in this video if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and a quick word from the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks. We'll be back in a couple seconds. It's not that long. Then we're going to talk about the Americans in the Bundesliga. The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to cash in America's biggest sporting event than PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big and final game of the season is right around the corner, this is your last chance to get into the football action before the next season. And by football, I mean American football, not soccer. So close the season out right with PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Personally, I like to play fantasy basketball and soccer, two sports I very much enjoy, and I like to do it because it adds an extra excitement to the game. It allows me to, root for a player or hate watch a player. And you know me, mostly I do hate watching. I love to hate watch. And PrizePicks is pretty easy to play. You choose 2 to 6 player projections for any sports. You then submit your lineup to check the entry fee and payout by selecting obviously the stats that you want that believe will happen in that game. Then you get matched into a group, and you can get real money by topping that group or by getting your picks right to win the minimum guaranteed. You can also play for free. That's important to point out with their free to play jackpot. So download the PrizePicks app today and use the promo code CLNS. So you will get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. That is CLNS to get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Okay. We are back, and now we're going to talk about the Americans that play in Germany in the Bundesliga. The first one being Malik Tillman from Bayer Leverkusen. And on Saturday, Tillman started and played 82 minutes for Leverkusen during their 3-1 win over Eintracht Frankfurt. And fellas, last week, I said Tillman was in poor form, which he was. I don't lie, I never have lied, I was right. But this dude took it personally. He totally watched my episode last Monday, and he got angry. He got mad. Because Tillman scored this game, a very nice goal. He was running into the box and his teammates set him up for a nice low shot. But not just that. Ever since I made that video, he also played a Champions League game during the midweek and he scored a brace. That is 3 goals in the past 2 games. To put it into perspective, up till last weekend when I said he was in poor form, Tillman had scored 3 goals all season long in 21 games played. And now he scored 3 more just in the past 2 games. What's interesting about Tillman is that many consider him a playmaker. But the more I watch him, from PSV, Leverkusen, he's more of a goal-scoring threat as an attacking midfielder than an actual playmaker. Next up, we have Joe Scally and Gio Reyna from Borussia, not Dortmund, the Gladbach one. And on Saturday, Scally started and played 84 minutes for Gladbach during their 1-1 draw with Werder Bremen. And Scally was fine. He didn't get as many touches as I would want him to have, but he did well for the most part. They were up 1-0 when he was subbed out, and they conceded a goal without him on the field. As for Gio Reyna, he is injured, and there's no expected return date. And knowing Gio Reyna, he could be back next week, or he could be back next year. Who knows? Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, so that he makes it to the US men's national team March camp. Next up, we have Noah Kai Banks from Augsburg. And on Saturday, Banks started and played the full 90 minutes for Augsburg during their 2-1 win over St. Pauli. And there were a lot of positives here. One, he was back in the starting 11 after serving his suspension last week. Even though Augsburg defeated Bayern, he was still back in the starting 11. Also, Banks was very good, once again, on defense and on the ball. And Augsburg got their second consecutive win, which is an important win as it gets them further and further from the relegation zone. Now, Pochettino needs to call up Noah Kai Banks in March, give him a shot. He honestly should be in the World Cup roster, but at least call him up in March and give him a few minutes. We play Portugal, we play Belgium, see how he looks. As for James Sands, he played the full 90 minutes for St. Pauli during this 2-1 loss against Augsburg and Noah Kai Banks. The last player I was going to talk about in Germany would have been Damian Downs, but he's injured. I got nothing to say there. There are a few other guys that I'll cover occasionally, like Kevin Paredes, but let's skip all of those. Let's go to Spain and talk about Johnny Cardoso from Atletico Madrid. And on Saturday, Johnny started once again and played the full 90 minutes for Atletico Madrid during their 0-0 draw with Levante. You see, not including Johnny Cardoso in the USMNT World Cup roster would be kind of insane. He's a very good Atletico Madrid player, a starter, a team that is far better than the US men's national team itself. I'm just being honest here, it's true. And I get it, he hasn't really had a standout performance yet, and he actually had some pretty bad moments for the US men's national team. But I'm sorry, the other options are Roldan and Berhalter. I don't trust these two on the field in the World Cup. If you want to bring Roldan for the vibes, sure. But if you need a player to play off the bench, Johnny has to go. You don't need two vibes players. Like if you play Belgium in the round of 16 and let's say Tyler's not available or Tessman is gassed out, whatever it is, do you rather play Johnny or Roldan? Johnny or Sebastian Berhalter? Who's more used to a high-level opponent like that? And I get the takes. Johnny needs to perform, so bring him in March, put him to play against Belgium and Portugal. If honestly he looks competent, he needs to be in the World Cup roster. Now let's go to France, talk about Americans that play in Ligue 1. The first one being Floating Balogun from Monaco. And on Saturday, Balogun started and played 56 minutes only for Monaco during their 4-0 win over Rennes. So the good thing here was that Balogun got an assist. He got the assist for Monaco's first goal, scored by Ansu Fati. Now the bad news is that he was subbed out due to injury. Apparently it's a hamstring injury. At the time of this recording, we don't have any reports on for how long he'll be out for. It might be nothing. It might be something more severe. We don't know. I think it's a minor injury, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know next week. Now, don't be surprised if he's out for at least 7 days. After Balogun, we have Tim Weah from Olympique Marseille. And on Saturday, Tim Weah started and played 80 minutes for Marseille during their 2-2 draw with Paris FC. Now, he played as a right wingback, and honestly, that's where he will likely play for the US men's national team in the World Cup. Perhaps he's the backup of Dest on the right wingback position and A-Rob on the left wingback position. And I know this may be an unpopular take, but I think Serginho Dest will be better as a wingback for the US national team in the World Cup group stage, where we will likely face 2 low blocks against Paraguay and also against Australia. But for the knockout rounds, where we will likely face teams that are better than us and will have to defend better and counterattack, I think Tim Weah is more direct, faster than Dest, and more well suited to play right wing back under those circumstances. So yeah, I would bench Dest for Weah when we face teams in the World Cup that are better than us. Next up, we have Marc Mckennie from Toulouse. And on Sunday, Mckennie started and played the full 90 minutes for Toulouse during their 0-0 draw with Auxerre. He's a center back, he got a clean sheet, that's all you can ask for. Last but not least in France, we have Tanner Tessman from Lyon. And on Sunday, Tessman started and played the full 90 minutes for Lyon during their 1-0 win over Lille. Now, Tessman was good once again in that midfield. He was solid on the ball, did a good job protecting the back line. He was good. And surprisingly, he was the player that covered the most ground for this game out of all players on the field. Now, Tessman has been great, and so has Lyon. They are on a 10-game winning streak. Now let's go to the Netherlands and talk about the Americans in the Eredivisie, more specifically the ones that play for PSV, Serginho Dest and Ricardo Pepi. Now, Pepi, while I'm recording this, he's technically still a PSV player, but the move to Fulham seems imminent. It seems like it's going to happen. I did a whole stream talking about it. While we're recording this, it's not official. PSV's trying to sign a replacement, but maybe by the time you're watching this, Pepi has officially moved to Fulham. Now, if it doesn't happen now, it'll happen during the summer. And if you want my takes and my opinions on this move, short term, long term, if it's good, if it's bad, go check out our last live stream. I talked about it a lot.
Hey, good morning. It's actually very early in the morning, but after we recorded the episode, the Ricardo Pepi move to Fulham collapsed. Now, he is expected to make the move over the summer, but there is no deal because PSV could not find a replacement. Okay, so for now, Ricardo Pepi will stay with PSV, even though they had a 37 million euro agreement. Okay, bye.
And on Sunday, Serginho Dest started and played 71 minutes for PSV during their big 3-0 win over Feyenoord. All right, now we're going to go back to England and talk about the Americans in the EFL Championship. The first one being Josh Sargent from Norwich. Well, at the time of this recording, he's technically still a Norwich player, but he's not playing for Norwich. They don't want him, right? Because of the whole transfer saga that we talked about in previous videos. So maybe he'll go to Toronto. Who knows what's going on with Sargent? I honestly don't care right now. So next up, we have Haji Wright from Coventry. And on Saturday, Haji started off the bench and was subbed in the 71st minute for Coventry during their 2-1 loss to QPR. Now, despite the loss, they still lead the EFL Championship. After Haji, we have Aidan Morris from Middlesbrough. And on Saturday, Aidan Morris started and played the full 90 minutes for Middlesbrough during their 1-0 win over Norwich. Now, this was a solid performance from Aidan. I don't think he really made any mistakes, protected the back line well, barely missed a pass, and won most of his 50-50 duels. No one can really complain. He went above and beyond to help them get the 3 points, and Middlesbrough currently sits in second place. Last but not least, we have my best friend, my BFF, Patrick Agyemang from Derby County. And on Friday, Agyemang started and played 71 minutes for Derby during their 5-0 win over Bristol City. Now, Agyemang scored, once again, a header. Now, he has 9 goals this season, and 6 out of those 9 goals were headers. The dude's head game is strong. It's really good. And I must concede, the EFL Championship is not very good. It might be worse than MLS, honestly. I was right about Agyemang. I still am right about Agyemang. But I was right about the championship. Okay, everyone. My USMNT player of the weekend is Weston Mckennie. To me, he was the best performer. Along with scoring a nice goal, he was very good for Juventus and helped them get a big win against Parma. You let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you made it this far, let us know with... Actually, just put a random comment if you haven't commented anything because it helps us a lot. And drop a like in this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.